So I mentioned recently that I have been spending a lot of time researching a new farm project. And while it's not that new because we've done it on a smaller scale, we are going to be implementing some permanent, more involved permaculture guilds around our trees, all of our fruit trees. Here on the farm, we have a total of 15 young trees, in addition to the ones that we inherited, which are kind of in rough shape when we moved here. So we have, I think it's 8 apples. I tallied it all up when I was making my plans, but we have apples, we have pear, cherry, we have pomegranate, and we have plums and a peach. I have an apple here behind me. You can see it flowering, and there's one close to the property up there, and they're dispersed throughout. I do not put my trees in their own designated area like rows. I spread them out throughout the property, one, just because they provide shade and ambiance to the farm, and I use edible landscaping as decorative landscaping. But the other thing is I wanted plenty of room to set up my guilds eventually, and now is the time to do that. So what is a guild? Absolutely, you can just stick an apple tree in the ground and see how it does. Not really fertilize in any capacity, not really plant anything around it, maybe just add some mulch, but you're really selling yourself short and not going to get as much yield or natural pest control as you would if you put in a guild. A guild is a permaculture or a living ecosystem approach to planting companion plants around the tree that give and take from the soil and give and take to the apple tree. In a guild situation, you need 7 different characters, including the apple tree. So we have our apple tree, and then we have 6 supporting characters. We have fixers, which add nitrogen. We have accumulators, which do things like mine phosphorus or potassium out of the soil. We have mulchers. We have suppressors, which suppress growth. And then we also have attractors, and we have repellers. So repellers help to repel bad bugs, and attractors add another line of defense to attract beneficial insects like wasps that prey on those nasty bugs. So there are different companion plants for different types of trees, and I will cover those as I go through. But this is an apple tree where we never started our guild. So all I have growing around here is grass. Now, believe it or not, dandelion is an excellent companion plant to have around an apple tree because it attracts beneficial insects, but it's got a deep taproot, which helps with mining some nutrients from the soil. And it also, I think, is a nitrogen fixer, but I would have to double check on that. Another great crop that you might already have growing around an apple tree is clover. Specifically, red clover is an excellent nitrogen fixer, and it helps to also suppress weeds. So when it comes to finding companion plants for your guilds, you don't have to find necessarily the fruit tree plus 6 different plants to go around it. Some can serve more than one purpose, like comfrey. Comfrey is a great mulcher, so we can chop and drop, and it'll give nutrients back to the soil, specifically nitrogen, but also it has an amazing root system that helps to accumulate other nutrients and bring it to the surface for the tree. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because I don't want to disturb the soil and I don't want to release a bunch of carbon that's not necessary into the atmosphere, is I'm going to do a cardboard slab around my tree, and I'm going to do this not in a circle. We're going to do, for ease of mowing for my husband, we're going to do a square guild. So what I'll start with is a cardboard piece. We're going to slap that down and just put a bunch of composted manure on top of that, and it'll choke out the grass. All of the grass that is grown around the tree will die off, and grass actually competes with trees for the same nutrients. So we're going to kill it, and we're going to return some of that nutrients back to the soil. The other thing I'm going to do is, I don't really like that plastic edging. I'm going to see what else I can find, but I am going to create some sort of a natural edge. Mint is potentially going to be one of my suppressors. It's really good for pollinators, really good for apple trees, but it does spread. So I'm thinking about some potential ways that maybe I could use that in a more controlled capacity. At the same time, I don't really want to be fighting mint from taking over my entire yard. So more to come on that. But in any event, we're going to choke the grass. We're going to put some cardboard down. In order to do that, we're going to top it with composted manure, and then I'm going to put an edging around that. that is what I will be doing this week. Now I do have all of my companion plants for all 15 guilds ready to roll. Some of them I purchased, some of them I started from seed, and some of them I actually propagated and split from plants that we have. We already have comfrey from a previous guild. I was able to get 15 more plants from that, no problem. Comfrey's an amazing plant. I have plenty of lemon balm. I'm going to include that as well. We're going to do some chive. We're going to do some nasturtium, cosmos. The list goes on and on because each tree has its own beneficial plants that help and do different things for the different pests and disease they can be susceptible to. So over the next week, 2 weeks, this is what I'm going to be working on here at the farm. I will save these in my stories in case you're interested in creating your own guilds. This is an approach to keeping plants that requires less human intervention, less maintenance overall, less pest management on my part. Really, I am returning control back to nature and creating a synchronized system when it comes to the care of the plants. If you're interested in more information on guilds or permaculture orchard approach, there is a great documentary called The Permaculture Orchard focuses on a fellow in Canada. And you can see how amazing this system can be when put into practice. So that's it for the little intro of my new project. And here we go. We're gonna dump it out of the way. All right, it's windy, so I'm gonna keep this quick because you probably won't be able to hear me well. We did 2 trees today and I didn't do anything to the grass. I dropped cardboard right on top. And then we went for the compost and added a nice thick layer of composted manure, manure from the horses, the sheep, the ducks. There's hay in there that broke down. There's bedding. So I'd say this is about 6 inches, and we're gonna call it done for tonight. And tomorrow I'll start our first 2 guilds, and yeah, we'll just kind of keep going as we get more boxes broken down, and then we'll keep adding compost. And so I'm not gonna wait to have all the cardboard down, then do all the compost, then do all the plants. It's gonna be bit by bit. So that's it for day 1. We'll plant tomorrow.